Hi, welcome to this tutorial, and today we'll learn how to use Maxwell displacement in Rhino 5. And this is what we're going to do. So this is just a simple timber wall with some big gaps, which is where it's very handy to use Maxwell displacement. This is actually my second tutorial on exactly the same topic, and the reason why I'm doing it second time is because I posted my previous tutorial on official Maxwell render forum, and as usual smart people are commenting and giving nice feedback, and in particular a person called Polixo gave me very good feedback about what I did wrong in my tutorial, and some things I said were not very correct. So that's why now I'm taking his feedback into consideration and going to do it in a proper way, so to say. Also, I guess you noticed that this time sound quality is way much better than before, and that's because I'm using new mic, which is a birthday present from my good friend Domus, so thank you, Domus. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get started. So I'm using same scene, just a simple wall, essentially like a box with a window. So this is the wall we'll be using to apply Maxwell displacement, and I'll be using the same view just to have consistent results. Alright, so let's get started. So let's create new material. Let's reduce roughness to something more realistic, 85 let's say. Right click, add displacement, and for now we don't change any of the default values. Only thing we do is apply texture mapping, which I prepared earlier. Alright, so I guess let's just check the default values and just to see where we are right now. So quick, I'll just hit render and see what we have and what we need to adjust to make it look better. Well, you clearly can see things are very wrong, so I'll just stop it, go back to Maxwell and see what we have. So immediately you notice that right now height is set in percentage, not any absolute measurements like absolute value. So let's change it to centimeters and increase it to maybe something pre. And whenever I use a displacement, I all the time use centimeters. That's because the rest of the material and everything is in scale, so I find it just easier to control it in that way. Also, you see that subdivision value right now it's 5. So I would say it's better to increase it to something larger, maybe 30 or so. And alright, and let's hit render again just to see what are the changes. It takes slightly longer to calculate because of the subdivisions. Okay, well, immediately you can see that the scale and in general sort of shape is looking better now. Still far from perfect. It's sort of very, I don't know, like a liquid sort of, but it's getting better. Now, in order to make it sharp and to achieve this result, what we need to do is to give more geometry for Maxwell to fold the displacement, so to say. So what we need to do is give more render mesh, and we can apply increased render mesh for entire scene, or we can only add to increase it for a particular object. If we want to increase it for entire scene, we need to go to properties, mesh, and then adjust mesh for here just by detail control. For now we'll only work on this wall, so if you only want to increase render mesh for this particular wall, we go to object properties and go to custom mesh and adjust. So first we can just make it hit the preview to see what we have right now. Well, you can see that the render mesh is very rough, so there's very little geometry for Maxwell to work, and although we have pretty high subdivision values, and because of the render mesh, the results are not good. It's very rough. So let's increase it, change a little bit to more unified grid, and increase it from 16 to something more, much more, 1000 let's say. And you can see that the grid is getting more dense. So let's make it even more denser, because I'm checking the gaps and hit the preview. Alright, now you can see it's very dense, and that should give enough geometry for Maxwell to work with. So I'm quite happy with that. I'll hit OK and go back to our set view, which is view 1, and hit render. See what we have. Now it will take much longer to calculate because it requires more memory, and I'm not using the best machine, so that's why it will take a while. Let's see how long it takes. Well, in general, whenever you use Maxwell displacement, I would before actually you use it, I would strongly recommend to think if that's crucial. If the scene or an object to render will be visible close up, and if not, in that case maybe simple bump map is good enough. So because as you can see, displacement is very sort of resource intensive in terms of render power, so it slows down the render time significantly. So I think it's important to decide if that's very important to use. Okay, well, it takes longer than I expected. Let's see. Well, actually I'm rendering. Okay, something started to move. The result should be much better now, so I just okay, it's actually very slow. That's a good example of how slow it becomes when you render in high definition displacement. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's much better. You can see that I haven't changed anything as regarding subdivision values or anything from Maxwell. Only thing I did is changed render mesh density on Rhino, and that's the results are very different. So if you compare to the previous, see, it's just you cannot compare. I mean, this is something what we want to have. I might even make it more sharp. Well, that depends. Actually, it's good enough. I think it's good enough. Even small things are visible, and the gaps are sharp. So I think now, you know, sort of our map becomes very important to make sure we have high resolution texture map. Yeah. So this is it. That's how you do it. And once again, thank you all the helpful forum participant, and in particular Proxito. So thank you for watching, and I hope it was useful. So bye bye.